And next, I would like to invite Mr. Rambabu from Pranava Group, Executive Director, the person who is motivating me in rain, in all kind of circumstances to do this business summit today. So please join us, sir. And he is a vast experience in UK with 20 years. And he is a very seasoned entrepreneur, very knowledgeable and intellectual person. Today, he graced us to share his international knowledge, experience, and expertise to see us all also in the global level.
Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. And actually, first of all, thanks for inviting here. And also, ఇక్కడ అందరూ బిజినెస్ మెన్ ఆల్రెడీ ఇంకా దాని గురించి మళ్ళీ చెప్పాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. అది దట్స్ వాట్ అవర్ ప్రొఫెషన్ ఈజ్. అండ్ this particular topic, investment, startup and technology innovation lo, just before that a brief about me myself, as I think Ganesh garu inta mundu cheppinatugane lot of generations inta mundu business originally, but next generation were there into employment, like probably due to various reasons manaku reservations levu kabatti I think manaku palita varam laga oka IT anedi lekapothe I think probably lot of our families would have struggled a lot. Do you agree all this with this, please? IT is the one really enabled, and ఈ సెక్టార్కి రిజర్వేషన్ లేని కాలంలో అండ్ ఆల్సో ఎన్నో ఛాలెంజెస్ మధ్యలో ఉన్నప్పుడు ఐ థింక్ పీపుల్ రియలీ అండర్ మిడిల్ క్లాస్ ఆర్ అప్పర్ క్లాస్, వాట్ ఆర్ ద వేరియస్ కేటగిరీస్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్కి ఐ థింక్ ఐటీ హ్యాస్ బికమ్ రియలీ ఎనేబుల్ టు గెట్ ఇన్ టు ఎ డీసెంట్ స్టేట్ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్. ఐ థింక్ మన ఒక స్టేటస్కో నిలబెట్టుకోవడానికి యాక్చువల్లీ ఐ థింక్ దట్ రియలీ ఎనేబుల్డ్ అస్. అదర్వైజ్ మేబీ మనల్ని ఇంకా చాలా అది వేరే కేటగిరీలో ఉండేది యాక్చువల్లీ. ఓవరాల్గా ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఓవరాల్ అవర్ కమ్యూనిటీ యాక్చువల్లీ. బట్ దట్స్ అ గుడ్ థింగ్ ఇన్ వన్ వే, బట్ ఇన్ అదర్ వే ఇట్ ఆల్సో వర్క్డ్ మేబీ నెగటివ్ యాజ్ వెల్. బికాస్ ఆఫ్ దట్ ఆ పర్టిక్యులర్ జోన్ ఏదైతే మైగ్రేట్ అయిపోయారో ఐటీ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్లో అలవాటు పడిపోయి, ఆబ్వియస్లీ ఒకప్పుడు 10,000 20,000 నుంచి లక్షలు, actually like it's like a lakhs of rupees in the income, and also they got into that, and slowly we migrated into total mindset of employment rather than business mindset. That's what happening in the overall. I think that is what I think Mr. Ganesh was trying to bring that insight. I totally echo with that, but it is a time for us to really relook at it, how we can really take back and blend with that. That could be employment, but however, we also need to make our own special strength. It's a business. That's in our blood. No one can deny that in one or other way. Everyone can have their own philosophies or ways of doing things different undotchu kani, but in one or other way mana mind eppudu ala pani chestuntadi evaru cheppina cheppakuna. But now we need to make it more streamlined. But as the time is going on, so why I've given this background is that I also started my career into IT. I started into a sales job, but then later moved on to IT with the flow.
Rambabu garu, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Our focus here should be startup, technology and investment.
Yes.
Together,
Yes.
we have to focus more onto the startup.
Yes, that's
Kindly
right.
please focus yourself into the startup.
Sure, sir. Sure. Please.
Put your IT technology into the startup.
Yeah.
And see that what happens.
Yeah, sure, sir. Definitely, I'm very conscious about it. Actually, I'm setting the context here. I wanted to make it a more doable rather than just giving me only technology. I want to connect the dots. I think I totally conscious about it. Within 10 minutes, I will try to convey and summarize the things. Sorry, thanks for reminding me anyway.
Great.
Yeah, okay. So, like I think, just like as you said, like I started with a career of technology and worked with many multinational companies, worked in the various industries and across the globe, like India, Singapore, New Zealand, and Europe, elsewhere. I worked, and I got very much exposure to enterprises, because fortunately, I've been into enterprise resource planning, like actually, ERP, SAP, and many other business applications I've been working on. So, due to which, always I've been having the connect with that. And during this time, definitely, I always have my back of the mind, definitely we have to do something different. Also, we also need to synergize my strengths. That's where I think really got into IT consulting and startup. That's what the topic I think it's talking about here. So when I looked at it, various avenues you have, and technology is evolving. Whatever the technology you take it, whatever the startup you take it, at the end of what it needs to do, it needs to support the business, right? it needs to support the people, business, processes, it's everything. So I believe, if you can go to the next slide, please, if you don't mind. That's about me, but that's fine. Yeah, you can move on, please. Next one. Next one, please. Next one. So I think we started getting into ERP, like wherein, SAP, we got into consulting with the SAP, and where we would like to support SAP consulting services. But not only that, at that time, only ERP, that's what happening. But in the world, across the world, there are technologies which are very undermined, and they are not given importance to many things. Also, maybe they will be coming in near future. So that's what I think I looked at process mining and also robotic process automation, wherein we try to make it, which can really improve the business processes across. So దానికి సంబంధించి I think we invested on this. But in the journey, due to my personal reasons, what are the reasons, I have to move on to our business. My brother, Mr. Ravi Kumar, he started, it's, as you know, it's a Pranava group. But there I had to involve, and I have taken a role of CTO, wherein to digitizing all the business processes. So I really observed there are a lot of startup ideas and really relevances required even in India, elsewhere, anywhere. So I think if you can go back next slide, please. So that could be, the process could be anything, but very fundamental, basic, and whether you call it a startup, technology, innovation, whatever it is. But first we need to understand what is as is. Currently, business ella run avutundi currently. How is it running currently? And how you want to run your business. That is a to be, right? So this is a core important thing, whether you are an investor or whether you are running, you want to start up your own startup idea. But I really suggest, first of all, what you want to do using your technological expertise, and what exactly you want to do for that. It is a very simple, whatever the projects we do, IT projects, that's the first step. What you do, what is the as is, their business process, and what is to be, how they want to automize, how they want to increase their profitability, how they want to really scale up, how they want to expand into various business domains and various industries and geographical locations. All these things, how, if at all they want to do that, what exactly to be done. So there is a gap analysis required between ఇప్పుడు కరెంట్లీ ఎలా రన్ అవుతుంది, ఏం చేద్దాం అనుకుంటాం నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్కి, ఈ రెండింటి మధ్యలో ఉన్న గ్యాప్ ఉంటుంది కదా, దట్ గ్యాప్ అనాలిసిస్ ఈజ్ క్రూషియల్ ఫర్ ఎనీ వన్. దట్స్ అ స్టార్ట్అప్. విట్ ఆల్ యూ వాంట్ టు డూ ద స్టార్ట్అప్, దట్ ఈస్ ఇట్స్ అ బేసిక్ టాపిక్స్ ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్. ఐ థింక్ ఇంతకుముందు టీజీ వెంకటేష్ గారు చెప్పినట్టుగా లాట్ ఆఫ్ చిట్కాలు వాట్ హీ మెన్షన్, ఐ థింక్ రియలీ లైక్డ్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ రెఫరెన్స్ పాయింట్స్. యాక్చువల్లీ దోస్ ఆర్ ఫండమెంటల్ బేసిక్స్, బట్ రియలీ దే ఆర్ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ ఫర్ ఎవర్. దట్స్ ఎ business tactics. So, and I believe this is a gap analysis really required for any startups. Though, if at all you have expertise in the cloud computing, for example, if at all you have its technology, mobile technologies or web technologies or whatever the technologies you are working on, but first, if at all you want to do something, a good idea as a startup, first choose your industry and also do a due diligence, proper due diligence, how that industry is running currently. If you take example, maybe to take the same example as construction industry itself, for example, as a reference point. So if you look at a traditional construction business process, maybe running its own pen and paper and also book and also security and also, maybe tally, simple tally is working on accounts team and also construction, someone is supporting these things. But if you look at end-to-end business processes, and there are a lot of opportunities if at all you do the gap analysis, right? How the current design review management process happening actually currently. If at all you take the construction business, so you take how the consultants working, how your internal process working, how your management, how you are taking the investment decisions, etc. These are all things happening very much as a separate zones, but there are a lot of opportunities if at all you do digitize and synchronize all those opportunities. If you understand their business pains, first of all, whatever the industry you take it, whatever the expertise you have it, I'm talking about, you do a proper due diligence of the industry and identify the pain points. And also because those pain points only will give you a lot of opportunities. Can you please go on to the next slide, please?
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but I'm keeping the time. We have 1 more minute.
Yes, please. I'll summarize. So, whatever I think, what I'm trying to summarize, maybe we'll talk more, but I guess it's more or less, first of all, just my suggestion is to really look at the gap analysis of startups. But I think this platform, purpose of this platform is to really encourage the startup ideas and also giving opportunity to the investors. There are people who are really investors, they don't have ideas. There are people who are really good technological experts, but they don't have money to do that. Someone needs to take the risk of money, someone needs to take up the risk of their intelligence. So here we need to strike a balance between come to the one platform. I believe maybe this platform can enable in this. I'm not saying this is a completely new idea, but it's an old idea. But however, putting that idea into community level is a good idea. That's what I can say. So that I really appreciate Gupta Garu, and maybe we'll talk more in the next session. But that's I think hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to convey here. So yeah, thank you.
I would like to interact here after listening to both of you. If we are into our traditional business, previously what we have is R&D. Keep doing research and development and see how we have to take up your business forward. Now the concept is to put younger generation or our own self to start thinking into a startup, a new idea, totally new idea. For example, in the construction, we have a traditional way of doing the construction in a very big way, huge big way, but we must, I think personally, we must give some slot to think ourselves into, even Ratan Tata does, even at this age, being such a big entrepreneur, such a big businessman, give some space in his mind to start thinking on the startups. That's what I feel, and I would like to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think.
Please go ahead.
People like Nana Palkiwala, Ram Jatalwani and all part of that company, and many MOUs we have already uploaded in our website, and those who are interested, you can go through our website to get the details. Like we have MOUs with Apollo also, Star Health Insurance also, many companies across the globe in Singapore and other countries.